Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here, okay? Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So, guys, this is my review recap for Handmaid's Tale, okay? Season 5, Episode 9, Allegiance. Y'all, we are gathered here today, okay? My tranquil claws, my beautiful ones, my quiet ones, my fierce fireflies. We are gathered here to talk about the shenanigans that went down in this episode, y'all, okay? They had my blood pressure all the way up, okay? I couldn't breathe for a minute. We knew that Hannah was not getting out. Can we all agree on that? We knew something was going to go wrong. Something was going to go down. We was not going to get a happy ending. We wasn't going to have, Hannah reunited with June. We got people out here playing all types of different daggone games. Lawrence trying to act like he's such the friend, which I talked about in last week's episode. When we know you not. You trying to dress up stuff to make it look pretty, Lawrence. All right, you trying to paint the outside of this house, but in the inside is rotten. It's things that need to be tore up from the floor up and taken apart and put all in brand new. And we see you, okay? Serena's still out here thinking that she not a daggone handmaid, that she gonna do what she want to do. She gonna manipulate and she gonna get her way. And reality checks, baby, is coming her way, okay? She got to be brought back to the earth and brought back to reality time and time again, okay? Time after time. Serena, wake up, girl. Wake up. Y'all, let's go ahead and get into this episode, child. I don't know what drink we need today. Do we need coffee? Do we need tea? Do we need cocoa? Do we need a strong, stiff shot? Okay? Because they was working my daggone nerves. But we are going to go ahead and get into this episode and take it from the top. So now, of course, we started out this episode. Mark and them is trying to get this, big plan that they got going together, right? And June and them are coming in and seeing that they have all these workers here. June and Luke is saying they didn't get much sleep last night. They say, listen, they're near the Mackenzies or whatever. They have a former U.S. military sergeant that turns out that, some of these families have been identified and the girls can be evacuated. These are the ones that's been stolen from these parents, and now their task force is going to launch this, 3 aircrafts or whatever, right? He's basically giving them the layout. Mark is telling June and Luke this, and he was like, our sources have confirmed a window of opportunity and a clear path to the school. And so he was like, from there, they're going to secure a landing. And they're going to go ahead and get up in here and they're going to get these girls. And he says that they are going to be watching, via satellite how everything is going to go down. And so they basically, have permission to kill anyone that gets in their way. So then they introduce them to Mr. Commander Elijah Vance, all right? He trying to get up in here and do what he got to do. Luke tell him, sir, is an honor. And so, they was just letting him know that they are so grateful and they appreciate everything that he's doing. And he was like, well, Miss Osborne, I heard about you too. Okay, girl, you've been out here doing some stuff. So back at you. You've been putting the work in. And June, just kind of smiling. Luke is looking like, yeah, my girl, she be out there doing her thing. So he was letting her know that they had eyes on Hannah. They know who she is and they know that she goes by Agnes Mackenzie and Gilead, And, he shows them that they do their homework in this place, and he was, just letting them know. Well, June let him know first. She was like, they're gonna be scared, and he was like, listen, I know how to handle this. Not only have I done missions like this, but I got a kid of my own. And he actually takes out a picture. He said she was here in, Toronto. Her name is Emma rather, I should say, right? And she is the light of his life. And he shows Luke and her a picture of her. So he's like, the kids is going to be his first, priority. He was like, my plan is to bring your daughter home and go home to mom, right? And so she's like, thank you. And I'm like, go ahead, Commander, right? But I was like, be careful out there, child, because I don't think this is going to go the way we going to think it's going to go. So, when Luke and June hear that they're going to be watching this live feed, right, they're like, live feed? Where? We got to be there. And they like, no, we didn't have no intentions on the families watching, all right? We will be watching and we're going to be reporting back. But Luke and June was like, listen, the other families is not the ones that, held this down and brought this information to you. We are. So we want the chance to be there, and watch this up close and personal and make sure our baby is getting up out of there. So, Mark says, all right, then I'll see what I could do. And they was like, thank you. So they all smiling and happy, man. It's like, it's so good to see June smiling and happy like this. But at the same time, I feel so bad for her because we know it wasn't going to last and we know it was not going to go that way. And the fact that she even had this moment where she could kind of breathe and feel like it could be a possibility for something to be good there, it's just like, it makes it hurt even more. So, they all riding and holding hands while they driving or whatever, and just thinking like, we're going to have, Hannah soon, right? We're going to have her probably in a couple hours or whatever the case may be, and be able to hold her in our arms, all right? And, June over here looking up at the sky and looking up at the trees and everything like it's a brand new day, all right? So nonetheless, y'all, we move on from there. And we basically, get freaking, we get daggone Serena, child, taking pictures. Miss Wheeler want these pictures to be perfect. She want them to be done a certain way. Serena posing in front of the daggone window with baby Noah. And, she got this big smile on her face. And she really is trying to play like, the big, nice, family, and we all happy and all of that kind of stuff, right? And so Serena coming talking about, wouldn't it be more effective if me and Noah was there to greet the donors in person? I was one of the people that helped to bring all this together. This was my idea. And to also let them see, like, the baby up close and personal, so that they could know that this is what they could have the opportunity to have one day. And Miss Willis like, oh, no, boo, we don't need you there. Okay, she looking at her like this. She was like, at the facility center. And then Serena's like, yeah, for the opening. She was like, so here go Miss Willa. No, you're both going to stay here. We don't want him exposed to germs and all this other stuff, as if she's really freaking giving a daggone about that, child. So Serena has really met her match with Miss Willa, right, honey? And when we thought Serena was the worst, we didn't know what else was coming. So, Serena was saying, I'm the one that reached out to the commanders or whatever, and surely your husband, have spoken with them and know what time it is or whatever. But Miss Willa was like, first of all, girl, you are a guest here in Toronto, all right? And my husband don't got nothing to do, with the daggone commanders, and you are under our supervision. So don't get it twisted, all right? She said, my husband don't answer to them commanders, girl. She was like, oh, no, you thought? And so she's like, sound like someone's hungry, because Noah started crying. And Serena was like, I could fix that. And so, Miss Willa told her, you really should start pumping again, so that he can be bottle fed on occasion. It shouldn't just be where he have to be over here dependent on your breast. And Serena was basically like, turning around and looking at her like she had 3 damn heads. And Miss Willa was telling her like, that's what he was already used to. So we need to get him kind of back on a regular schedule, regular routine or whatever have you. And so Serena was like, well, because she over here talking about he must have missed it. Serena was like, well, it will be less confusing for him, if he only nurses for me for now, right? She says, oh, my small boy ain't going to be confused. I said, ooh, Miss Willa, you throwing shots, girl. You throwing shots. Okay, Serena was looking so pissed off, trying to hold it together and keep a straight face and not bust out, and curse this lady out. She was like, pump for him next time, and basically walked away like, you are about to walk away, like you are dismissed. And, Serena come back up on her and was like, Miss Willa, and she's there. And so she was like, I'll just pump for him the next time or whatever, right? And she walked away, okay? So that made me laugh, because it's like 1 minute Serena be ready to buck up, and the next minute is like reality be setting, and then she like, let me just chill. So, here go Miss Willa walking up to baby Noah like, I know you miss your bottle. I said, girl, bye. He don't miss no damn bottle, all right? So Serena just go ahead and take him and try to get ready to, feed him or whatever the case may be. Now, you got Lawrence and Aunt Lydia waiting, and they like, yo, she's late, what's going on? And she was like, listen, Commander, you are doing the right thing. Okay, that's what Aunt Lydia was saying to Lawrence. She was like, this is honorable and a necessary thing to do. You are a true leader in Gilead, okay? Aunt Lydia want to make him feel good. So he was like, I appreciate you being here. And she told him she is happy to be of service, all right? And so then we find out that it is Miss Putman that they was waiting to see. So now when Miss Putman get up in here, child, she nervous, okay? She's scared. Remember, they done killed her damn husband in front of her, so she don't know what they gonna be doing with her next, what moves they gonna be trying to make. And when she come in, it is so awkward. She don't know really what to say. She come in talking about blessed day, Commander, Aunt Lydia, whatever. And Aunt Lydia is like, oh, we so happy to see you. Lovely to see you. Glad to have you here. And so for a minute, they just sitting there in silence. And, he had offered her tea. She was like, no, thank you. But y'all could go ahead and have some. He like, I hate tea, okay? So she just want to get down to business and know why she is here and find out what exactly is going on. And, Lydia keep looking at him for him to speak. And then he starts telling her like, well, Miss Naomi, okay, I recognize that in the incident that went down, you are now, left on your own with a baby or whatever the case may be. And, you have to be considered about, what your future is going to be. And she was like, please don't send me to the colonies. And he was like, oh, no, heavens, no, we ain't doing that. You ain't going to, the colonies. You're not responsible for Warren's sins. We wouldn't make you pay for what he's been doing. You are freaking. He was like, are you kidding? That guy, you deserve a reward for even being with him. I said, no, Lawrence didn't. So she was like, a reward. And he was like, yeah, in a sense, he says, we got some things that we might be able to put together for you. So on Lydia started telling her like, Miss, Putman, you simply cannot stay in that house, okay, with that young child, and be a widow and living in that house. So she was like, oh yeah, I get it. That's such a big house. She was like, I understand. Of course that makes sense. She was like, it's much too grand for the two of us. She said, well, maybe we could get a nice condo or, in Brookline or Brookbay. So he said, girl, we ain't no damn realtors. What you talking about? So Lydia was like, why don't I just come out and suggest, and convey, what Lawrence's intentions is for you, what ideas he have for you or whatever. So he says, yeah, basically it's a quid pro quo, right? And he was basically like, you need security or whatever the case may be. And I need to represent, a traditional life. So he was like, you can move here with the kid if you want, right? Or, he basically was like, and she was looking like, what? And so Aunt Lydia was like, as his new wife and child, a sacred union, of course, right? And so I found it interesting that Lawrence is now trying to do this with Putman's wife and child, but he was not trying to do this with no daggone, Serena. So she was like, wait, this is a marriage proposal? I was a little shocked myself because I thought he was going to tell her that she could go live in this new world he's over here trying to build, child. But looked like Lawrence got some other plans. So he was like, what do you say? Yep, yep, yep. That's what we trying to do. Okay, yep, yep, in my Teddy Riley voice. And so she was like, well, oh, wow, I don't know about that. And he talking about that's hurtful. So, here go on Lydia. She's like, Miss Putman, a wife is bound, to her husband as long as he lives. And once he dies, you know how it goes, girl. After he dies, he is free to marry. She is free to go on with whom she chooses only in the Lord, okay? So she was like, First Corinthians, and she says, who doesn't love Corinthians or whatever? So, here go Lawrence talking about especially First Corinthians. So he was like, no, Naomi, this is just a suggestion. You make the decision, you figure out what you want to do or whatever the case may be. You think about it and get back to me. So, Naomi over here like doing a little screw face too. And he said he got work to do and he go ahead and he walk off. And so, Lydia basically was saying to her, like, take some time, girl, but consider your situation or whatever the case may be, right? His statue, his house, and all this stuff that it represents. And she was like, he killed Warren in front of me. She says, oh, yeah, girl, I know, but, which he is willing to overlook. So you better think about it, okay? Think about it, right? And so she was like, think hard, think good. Okay, and let me go ahead and walk you out. Now, in the meantime, Lawrence in the cut behind the door, like, listening or whatever, right? Putting his ear to the street to see what she talking about. So we move on from there. Serena is basically putting these bottles in the fridge, for the baby. And she notices that, Mr. Wheeler's down here in the study reading or whatever. And she come knocking at the door. I said, Serena, what the hell are you going in here to do, right? What do you need to talk to this man about? Child, because for some reason Serena always thinks she can manipulate a situation. She still be thinking she's smarter than everybody else in the daggone room, and it kills me every single time. So of course when she first knock and goes in there, she over here trying to make small talk and be like, I'm so grateful to you and your wife and so glad that y'all let me into your home and y'all giving me another chance after everything, that's happened. I appreciate this opportunity to be here and to take care of Noah. I'm so sorry to disturb you. And he was asking, is there a problem? She's like, oh no, nothing at all. Everything is good or whatever. I'm just hoping for a moment with you. And so he had to eventually tell her, like, because it was funny. He said, are you going to shoot me? And she was like, no. He said, then what can I do for you? And he had to let her know, like, all right, I see you sitting here trying to make all this small talk. That sound all good, but get to the point, because I'm pretty sure that you did not come in here to tell me all of this. And, obviously, Serena didn't want to take no for an answer, right? She had already asked Miss Wheeler about going to tomorrow's opening. So now she went, over her to damn Mr. Wheeler to ask him about it and was saying, she wanted to help avoid any missteps. She basically has, learned a lot, and she was the one that helped them with this, and she feels like, he would have been truly a blessing to Gilead had he been there from the very beginning when they were starting up. They could have used a man like him. She want to beat him in the head and spruce him up and make him feel like he's good. So he was like, cut the shenanigans, stop giving me all these different compliments, get to what the hell you really want to say. And then when she brung up that it was her idea, she came up with that, and she really want to be a part of it and feels like she should be there with Noah, and they should see how successful the pregnancy was and be able to see the baby up close and personal to get more followers and supporters and to get more women to come in. And these women wanted children of their own or whatever, and that could be really a role that is intended for her to do and show them the baby and all of that. And so he's sitting there thinking about it, and he's like, that's a nice picture, whatever the case may be, sounds good. He was like, I appreciate your passion for the cause, and I'll consider it. Okay, so she's like, okay, thank you. So she just was like, praise be. So she go ahead and leave or whatever the case may be. And then we are seeing, June and them finally coming in to watch this, so-called rescue, right? And so they telling them what they looking at, and we hearing them over the, the remotes or whatever. And I'm sorry, the radios, I should say. Right, and they saying where they are now and where the raid is gonna happen. They showing the school, and June is like, oh, looking and smiling like, my baby, you about to be back with me and all of that kind of stuff, right? And they was like, we see the visuals and all of this different kind of stuff. And as they are going back and forth, and we're seeing these numbers and seeing where they're at, and we're seeing the planes, moving towards the target and all of that good stuff, we are actually getting kind of like back and forth scenes where at the same time, because June over here talking about, hey, banana, and smiling or whatever, right? And we're seeing, at the same time that Hannah and them is there praying. Oh, she looks so beautiful too. Beautiful little girl. And so, she's saying her prayer, whatever the case may be. And, the lady that's watching over them is like, may the Lord bless you and be, with you or whatever. And it's time for them to go to bed. But, little Hannah over here, sneaking child and doing her drawing and all of this stuff and peeking to make sure, ain't nobody seeing nothing. And she telling her like, good night. One of the aunts or whatever, I think her name was Aunt Paula, telling them to have a good night and have, sweet dreams and all of that. And so, Hannah seems to be very smart, child. She was in here sneaking to do her little drawing, pulling it out or whatever the case may be. And it just kept making it seem like she was sensing something, because you would see her looking up, and then you would see, June looking up and smiling at the same time. And at this point, of course, these planes are supposed to be on their way. And so it kind of gave me the same feeling that it did when she was walking, and it seemed as though she had looked right in the direction as the person that was, taping her. So I'm like, do she hear them coming or something? What's going on here? So at first she's looking through this little book that she have or whatever, and then she pulls out like this drawing she did, and then she writes her daggone name on it. So obviously she still does remember June and them. She does remember who she is because she was able to write Hannah, okay, not the new name that they gave her on the paper. So I was like, oh, that part did make me get a little tingly inside, okay, y'all. I got a little emotional. So at the same time that is happening, we starting to hear damn alarms going off, and we seeing that the signal is fading out on the daggone screens. They have lost contact with them, and it's just like everything went black. And so Mark is over here like, get them out of here. June and them is asking what happened. We seeing red flashing on the screen, so we know that this is not a good thing. So they out in the hallway waiting, and Mark basically ends up coming out like, listen, good y'all knew we was coming before, we got there. They wiped out these daggone planes. Everybody is dead. I'm gonna have to go call these families and let them know what happened. We wasn't able to do the damn rescue. They saw us before we was coming. They must have had intel. So I'm like, well, how the hell they had intel or whatever? He said, the girls are safe, they okay or whatever, they're still at the school. And so of course June and Mark is, oh gosh, they're hurt. He says Gilead anticipated us, they saw us coming, and they basically used these anti-craft systems, and it wiped out the daggone airplanes or whatever, and it took all three of them down. So I said, I knew something was gonna happen. I knew we was not gonna get Hannah there. He says there are no survivors. So now he got to let all these parents know that these men are dead. So of course June is pissed off now, right? And she out here calling up daggone Lawrence or whatever the case may be. Or did he call her? I can't even remember, y'all. But she get on the phone with him, and she's like saying hello, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, June, I really am. I don't be wanting all this bloodshed. This is what I was trying to avoid. This is exactly what I was trying to avoid. And she was like, all the soldiers are dead. You freaking slaughtered them. And he was like, they invaded my country. And she says, trying to save our damn children. He was like, these are citizens of Gilead, okay? They cannot be stolen from us. You know that. And he says, I gave you a chance to be with Hannah, and you threw a lot in with these daggone Americans. And she was like, that's why you called me, to blame me? And he talking about some, no, I called because I wanted you to know you could still come to New Bethlehem. She said, why would you let me do that? He was like, well, Hannah's a symbol now. And she like, nah, I don't want her to be no damn, symbol. So he talking about some after last night, it would be even more effective or whatever the case may be. If June Osborne came over to Gilead and lived over here and came to be close with her child and close to Nick, all right, he tried to throw Nick in there too because he knows she be getting a little weak in the knees when it comes to Nick. So she was like, what do you mean? And he was like, Nick is going to be there too. That way y'all could be neighbors. Y'all could borrow cups of damn tea and sugar, whatever, from each other if y'all want to. Y'all kids can play and know each other. So she was like, oh, so you think you could dangle Nick in front of me and that's supposed to give me whatever you want? Get the hell up out of here, right? And he says, I think it's a good deal and you should take it. So at this point, June is so freaking pissed or whatever the case may be. And she's just like, you so freaking full of crap or whatever the case may be. But he tells her there's one more thing. He was like, I need you to go public and I need you to, basically say that this failed mission was a foolish act of aggression. She said, hell no, hell to the no. Why would I do that? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say that. Why would I say something like that? And that's not the truth. He going to say, well, Americans did what they always do. They put Hannah and a whole bunch of the other girls in real danger or whatever the case may be. And she says, hell no, I'm not making Gilead the victim here, okay? I'm not going to do that. She was like, no way, no freaking, get the hell up out of here. She was like, Gilead is the damn evil country or whatever the case may be. So he says, well, you're still a part of it and you can fix it from the inside. She said, you're one of them. Okay, you're one of them. And what's even worse is that I know you better than any daggone body and I see through you. I know what the hell you about. He talking about some, I'm doing what I can to make things better as I promised Eleanor. She said, no, you ain't doing nothing better for no damn Eleanor. She said, Eleanor hated you. She hated you. She thought you was was daggone trash. Okay, she saw right through you. She couldn't stand the thought of you. And that's why she basically wanted to get herself up out of here away from you. She was so broken and so devastated by you, so disappointed in you, so ashamed of you, okay? Because June is pissed now, so she going in on him. She was like, the man that she loved could have, been involved in something like this and did all the things that he did, disgusted her, and so she would rather be dead. And she said, guess what? I was there with her at the end, and I saw her when she was dying, and I ain't do a daggone thing. I watched her die, okay? I watched her freaking die. I watched her life leave her damn body because I knew that it would be better than her having to be with your raggedy ass, okay? And I did nothing. I said, I know that's right, June. He over here letting one little tear come down his damn eye like if he's supposed to be freaking hurt. But Lawrence is full of crap, and he gonna say, I knew you had did that or whatever the case may be. And so he was like, I knew you had something to do with it. I say, yeah, whatever, Lawrence. So he basically was like, Eleanor would still want me to help you and help Hannah or whatever, right? This is what he told himself. He says, help come back. And she says, no, I want her here. I want her to be with me. He gonna be like, that's never gonna happen. And she was like, F you, okay? F you, F Gilead, F all the damn commanders, shove them up your behind. She ain't say all of that, but I'm saying it for her, okay? And so at this point, she was just crying and just bent over, whatever, and telling him to go F himself. So, she go ahead and she hang up the phone. The fact that he thought that actually was going to work, I don't even know. But, of course, she's pissed, and at this point, she going crazy, tearing down all the damn, plants and trees or whatever that they had, that they was planting there, and Luke had to come out and hold her, and she telling him to get off of her, and he's telling her to calm down, it's going to be okay, they're going to get through this and all of that kind of stuff, right? And still saying that we're going to get her. So now we get Serena, she out here smiling by the car, and she talking about blessed day, Miss Willer, because I guess Mr. Willer had told her that she could go. So here go Miss Willer, slapped her ass, okay? And she was like, slap, slap, okay, both ways. Stay away from my damn husband. And so Serena's like, oh God. So she was like, you sneaking down there in the middle of the night to ask him about something after I told you no. When I say no, that's what it is. Who the hell do you think you are? Serena over here talking about, well, I am Miss, Fred Waterford, girl. And she was like, well, you know what you are to me? You're just some whore. I said, woo, baby. Okay, shots fired again. Miss Willer is pulling punches, baby, literally and figuratively. She was like, and now I'm coming with you. Get in. Okay. And so here goes Serena getting in the damn car, and she's still holding her face or whatever. That slap must have burned, baby. Okay. So now June go over to Mark, and she's like, what can we do? What's our next options? What else can we make happen? I'm here. I'm ready to fight as many different ways that we must be able to fight. She was like, Gilead is always going to be 2 steps ahead of us. They always going to lie. He says, so you ain't trying to be down with Lawrence no more. She's like, nah, I'm over that. You know what I'm saying? Goodbye. Lawrence called me this morning with his full of crap behind, talking a whole bunch of mess, and she was like, now we got to get it on and popping. We got to fight. I'm done with that son of a bitch, and I want to know what is the other, backup plans that you have. What else do you see that we could do or whatever? So he basically at first was trying to say that, she could join forces with them and kind of be a representation of them, and speak out and all this other different kind of stuff. It's almost as if he's asking pretty much the same thing that Lawrence is asking, just the opposite way around. And he was like, well, what about Nick? He was like, at one point I had gave him an offer and he turned it down. I told him that, not only can we start out with him being an inside man and bringing back and forth, information or whatever, because June was like, what, to be an inside man or something? He was like, yeah, at first, but then eventually he could even come here and live, and we would give him, immunity and help him and stuff like that. And she was like, and he turned it down. And so he's like, yeah, he was like, but I figured that, he said no because it was coming from me, but maybe if he gets to, hear it from you or whatever, you would be able to persuade him. He was like, I really think you can. So as far as her being the spokeswoman and all of that different kind of stuff, she was like, I don't think I could do that right now. But as far as going to see Nick, because he was like, I could go ahead and set it up today and we could see, how you can be a help or whatever. And, she said, yeah, set that up. And she left, right? Because I guess she figured that she could get through to Nick. I say, yeah, okay. So she go ahead and she walk out from there, you know. Then we have Serena at the damn place. She's showing the ladies the baby. They all surrounding her. She talking about how Gilead got the clean water and clean air and it help with the environment. And of course, above all, you got to have the devotion to God. They all standing around her smiling and all into her, whatever the case may be. Of course, this is making Miss Willa jealous. So Miss Willa's over here like, you know, Serena, darling, okay, come on over. So Serena come over to them or whatever and was like, excuse me, you know, separated herself from the ladies and walk over to Mr. and Mrs. Willa. And they like, oh, you must be exhausted. We gonna take you home. She's like, oh, no, I'm fine. So she was like, well, they're not here to see you. They're here to see Noah. So you could leave him here with us and you could go ahead home and get your rest. So Serena like, what, girl? She was like, you know, and then here go Miss Willa. I think I'm going to bring him tomorrow by myself as well. That way you could get rest. So I said, oh, so it went from Noah could get infections from being around all these people to now you want to have him there by yourself, girl. That's why we know you full of crap too. So Serena over here like, yeah, I think I am quite sorry, but I'm going to have to nurse him before I leave. She said, well, no need. Just leave the bottle. She said, I didn't bring the bottle. She was like, oh, I thought I told you to bring the bottle. So, you know, the maid hurried up and jumped in and was like, I'm so sorry, Miss Willis. She was like, I should have packed it. I wasn't even thinking of whatever. My mistake. It was just really foolish of me. And so she actually was trying to help Serena out. So, you know, Miss Willa was like, okay, don't take long or whatever the case may be. And so here go Mr. Willa. I think that's up to little Noah. And Miss Willa gave him a look like if looks could kill, his ass would have been dead, y'all. So, you know, here goes Serena again. I'm very thankful that I was being, you know, able to be here today. And then the maid said, you know, I'm going to take you in the back where it's a nice quiet spot. So Miss Will is still trying to play it off and have a smile on her face, but we know she really pissed, okay? So the maid go ahead and take Serena back here to this back room. And Serena was like, do you mind if I have privacy? She was like, of course. So she leave her there and we seeing this exit sign just shining on through this door. So I said, I know what you about to do, Serena girl. Okay, I see you. Sure enough, she go running out this door. Child, I thought they was going to get her and drag her in. We know we got her waving down cars. 2, 3 cars done past her. One car, she jumped her ass in front of the damn car. And the car looked like it was almost about to hit her. But then she hurried up and turned her back to it and was like, please, please save me and my son. So the girl was like, okay. And she get in. She's like, please, please, please go. So I don't know where the hell she on her way to, who this girl was and what was happening with that. Now, as we, you know, transition or whatever the case may be, we get to June coming to this meeting with Nick or whatever. He's sitting over here, sitting on the steps, smoking a cigarette. Of course, they gotta be like, oh, you know, he's supposed to be so happy to see her. She happy to see him and all of that. So she was like, why didn't you say yes to Mark? He told me what happened. Like, you could be here in Canada. You could be helping. Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you let me know about this? And he was like, I can't just, you know what I'm saying, pick up and leave. She was like, but you expect me to? He's talking about something. I have a wife now. She says, I have Luke and I have Nicole. You could bring Rose here with you. He was like, no, I can't. He was like, Gilead is her home. You know, her father is basically one of the top commanders and she's happy there. So she's not going to be leaving. And he was like, so... She was like, what happens now? Whatever, you know, is this really a reason for you to stay? So, you know, she was about to be like, oh, what are you trying to get a handmaid too? But he was like, no, she's pregnant. So she was like, oh, wow. You know, he was like, Rose is pregnant. You could see she was kind of shocked, a little hurt, a little, you know, just surprised overall. So she's like, oh, okay, that's what we doing out here. So she was like, oh, so you just basically good. You living a happy life. She was like, right, you know. And so... she's like, you know, so he over here talking about some Gileon's changing under the progress allowance and we're working to make it better. I said, what? Like, what? And so June is like, and he like, you know, I have to do whatever I can to protect my family just like you. And she's like, oh, okay. Okay, so she was like, well, I want what's best for both our families, you know. Like I said, sometimes June just be having more grace than me, baby. I'm sorry. I don't see it and I ain't here for it. But anyway, you know, they come and they walking up, giving each other googly eyes for a good 5 minutes or whatever. And then she was like, well, this is a mess, isn't it? And he like, yeah, you know, the whole world's a mess and all this. So, you know, he basically was just saying that, you know, because she was like, oh, you know what I wish, though? She was like, you know, I really wish and want that this world could just go away. You know, like, I'm tired of it. I'm over it just for a little bit, or whatever the case may be, right? And, you know, he talking about something, it's going to be hard for us to see each other, whatever the case may be. And she was like, well, I don't want to make trouble for you. And, you know, she asked him, like, you know, are you happy now? Is it going good for you? Are you liking how everything is going? Because he talking about some, do me a favor, tell Nicole that I love her, whatever, right? And he was like, tell her I miss her and I think about her all the time. Can you do that for me? And she was like, of course I will. Now, in the meantime, you know, he like, I should go, right? And then he gonna act like, you know, she said, enjoy yourself, or whatever the case may be. And he says, yeah, I haven't seen, you know, enough, and I don't have my own driver yet, but I am slowly, you know, moving on up like the George Jeffersons, okay? So we're gonna talk about some I love you. And she's just doing like, I love you. And I was like, really? That's what we came here to do? Like, everybody else is gushing, talking about some old Nick and June and the chemistry and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't give a damn about this. Like, you literally came here to tell her no, tell her you're happy, tell her you like how Gilead is going, and you going to stay there and be with your damn wife and make a new daggone baby. Meanwhile, okay, the child, Hannah, is still there. And you talking about this thing you and Lawrence about to build with his bullcrap raggedy behind it. Everybody is smiling about what? Like, June was still there smiling, watching him walk away, stuck smiling for about 5 minutes, girl. I said, so we not worried about Hannah no more? We don't give a damn what happened with her. So obviously, you know, Nick is truly happy there because he turned Mark ass down and he turned Joe ass down too. Now, in the meantime, we get to freaking, you know, Rose. They over here having something for her. You know, Aunt Lydia comes with Miss Putman, and they was trying to throw shade like, oh, we didn't know Aunts was supposed to be here too. And Miss Putman was like, well, she came with a guest, you know what I'm saying, with me to keep me company and escort me here at the commander's request. And so they celebrating the fact that Rose got pregnant, or whatever the case may be. You got all the women together and you got all the men together, and they are thanking, you know, the Lord for this blessing. But they was like, you know, at the same time that Nick and her must be thrilled, they probably also concerned because of genetics, all things considered, okay? It could be genetic issues happening here. Trying to throw shots at Rose, and Rose was like, well, I guess we will just leave that in God's hands and see what happens. So I'm like saying, why do y'all love this place so much? Why do y'all like it so much? Obviously, these women don't even like her, don't even want to be around her, don't even think she deserves to be able to be married and, you know what I'm saying, having no damn baby with Nick. They probably like, how the hell out of all of us, you know, your ass over here walking with this damn cane or whatever, get to have a damn baby and we don't, all right, hating or whatever. And you got the guys talking about they about to freaking, you know, have this allegiance with damn China and Russia and all these other places, and they was like, we playing with the big boys now, and basically bigging each other's up, and, you know, saying that they, you know, about to do this big shit or whatever the case may be. And then they like, you know, we gotta go ahead and be on top of our stuff. So all in all, we really having a good success right now. And they was like, well, June Osborne is still stirring up trouble. You know, what the heck we gonna do about her? It's about time we fix that problem. Wouldn't you agree? Yes, we got everything else going good, but we still have to take care of that. And so here go Lawrence talking about some certainly worth considering, shall we, gentlemen? And then they all go in the room with the ladies, and then Nick was asking Rose like, how's everything? And she was like, it's good, you know, now that you are here with me. And so here go Lawrence talking about his vision and the commitment and value and purpose and all this stuff of what he want to do with Gilead. And he's like, all of you have impressed me, and, you know, as a commander and all this stuff. And he going over here standing next to Miss Putman and you know, Lydia talking about, I like to defy the expectations, and putting his hand on Miss Putman, and Miss Putman looked like she just want to crawl up in the inside, you know, and die. She looking down at his hand like, ooh, you know, get your damn hand off of me. And so he over here talking about praise be, and I said, y'all have created a damn monster with Lawrence, okay? If he was not already a monster, he about to go up in a way and become a bigger monster. So in the meantime, we are trying to give, you know, respect and condolences and, you know, just say a few words about these officers that have been struck down and killed. We got the American flag up. We got, flowers and cards and stuff like that. And we got Mark reciting all the names of the people that have died trying to go on this mission. Meanwhile, we got a bunch of protesters that's going, go home, go home, go home, go home. We don't want you here, okay? And so when he finished reading off these damn names and saying, we remember these patriots, basically he calls up the commander that June and them met, daughter, and he's like, she basically wants to say something, and at first she comes up and she's trying to say the, Pledge of Allegiance, but she could barely even get like it out. All she keep repeating is I pledge allegiance, and she looking down at her daddy photo, and I'm like, oh, poor baby. So June is like, can I go and help her? And they like, yeah, in the meantime, we hearing them, get out of our country, go, we don't want you here, go home, go home, go home, y'all trash or whatever. So June is like, can I help you? And Emma's like, yeah, and they start to say the I pledge allegiance to America, to the United States of America together, and we have the crowd actually joining in, and the flag waving and all of that. Child, next thing you know, bullets start spraying. We don't know where the bullets was coming from, who it was coming from, but baby, them bullets was flying, and June had to jump on top of little poor Emma and try to get her up out the way, and you just seeing everybody else running and screaming. So it's like, not only do they have to sit here and worried about what Gilead going to do and fight them and try to get their damn kids back or whatever, but we also got to be worried about people in damn Canada that don't want them there, that's trying to basically act like they want to kill them there and fight them and stuff. Y'all, this is getting crazy. This is out of hand. It's like it needs to be one or the other. We cannot have all this different stuff going on at one time, okay, y'all? It's just working my blood pressure. But y'all put it in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. What do y'all think Serena and Next Steps is going to be, child? They going to catch her and bring her back? I was about to be like Kunta, but God forgive me. No, okay, but are we gonna get her ass back, and what is Lawrence and them really up in here trying to do? Y'all put it in the comments. Let's discuss, okay? Like, comment, share, subscribe if you are so inclined. Give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some slings up in the sky. All right, y'all. Till next time. Toodaloo.